Welcome to the Reasonable Southerner podcast. The South isn't all magnolias in the moonlight, but neither is it all racism and violence. We are just like you. My name is Frances Coleman. I share my insights about my life and yours. I understand politics. After all, I'm from Louisiana, a place where the realities of politics are as much a part of life as red beans and rice on Mondays. Stealing from the public treasury and spreading the money around, while keeping plenty for yourself, is an art form in the Bayou State. I know that my father got a job running a state resort when I was a little girl because he was from a big family, was a decorated combat veteran, and was dependable in an emergency. Other relatives were on levee boards. I don't know if they really did anything or how much they were paid. However, none of my home state's foibles can top what's happening now in Florida and Texas. Politicians who have taken up the cause of those who believe the COVID-19 pandemic is a communist plot or no worse than the flu, are endangering the lives of little children in their maniacal efforts to hang on to power. Here are some facts. Less than 1% of fully vaccinated people experience a breakthrough COVID-19 infection, meaning more than 99% do not get the disease. Thus, they cannot spread it. And that means that there are fewer cases and fewer opportunities for the virus to mutate. Children, however, are too young to get the vaccine. So for now, the best way to protect them is to make sure that they are not around people who are not vaccinated. That's hard to do, however, in states where many people foolishly refuse to be vaccinated. Without the collective protection of the vaccine, we're left with measures like hand washing and face masks. But enlightened governors like Florida's Ron DeSantis and Greg Abbott of Texas have decided to forbid public schools from requiring children to wear masks. That act is perfectly logical, I suppose, for a politician who's hell-bent on galvanizing the people who refuse to be governed by public health measures. I heard a person who proudly refused to wear a mask declare, "I am not a sheep," meaning those who do wear masks and the weaklings who bow to the will of the state are surrendering their free will and individual freedoms. If only this display of politics at the price of public health just sickened unvaccinated people who shun the use of masks. If I were as cynical as DeSantis, and believe me, I'm not, then I would wish them well and watch them die. The deathbed scenes of those who refused the vaccine and are now dying of the Delta COVID variant are tragic because they are preventable. I don't want that kind of butt-headed thinking to cause your grandchildren or mine to contract the disease and die from it. In Alabama, not a place noted as a beacon of good government and wise policy, our governor shot pretty straight on the subject, saying that those who refuse to be vaccinated are to blame for the increase in the disease. She doesn't favor mask wearing, however. Wearing masks is seen as an outward sign of submission, and God knows we can't have that. Vaccines may be catching on, however. There's nothing like death to encourage the living. The cardinal lesson in this public health crisis could have been learned decades ago in a television advertisement about that sorry substitute for good Irish butter, margarine. The ad features Mother Nature. She is an airy, fairy matron dressed in a flowing gown. She tastes the margarine, and compliments herself on how nature can produce a wonderful product from mere milk and agitation. When she learns the truth that the ersatz butter is actually made from corn oil, the thunder peals and lightning flashes. She growls, "It's not nice to fool Mother Nature." It's the same way for the sheep and the non-sheep. You can complain all you want about masks, Dr. Fauci, and the feds, but at the end of the day, you get the vaccine or you get the virus. It is not respectful of politics or Facebook memes. Trying to fool Mother Nature is a deadly game. I pulled up to a car wash the other day and joined the line of vehicles waiting to enter it. I was amazed at how many drivers seemed to have taken a sudden interest in automotive hygiene. And then I realized that they were, in fact, queued up to visit the Doc in the Box next door. But don't be confused. They were not there to protect the little school children. Permit me to paraphrase a story about a long ago Alabama governor whose political skills were as large as his ambitions. George Wallace was in a meeting about taxes. When he balked at a tax increase, a staff member said, "Governor, what about the little school children?" "Listen," Wallace said, "you think about that steel worker who's just finished the swing shift. He goes to the refrigerator, takes out a beer, and makes a bologna sandwich. Then he sits down in front of the television and hears that I've just raised his taxes to take care of the little school children. You know what he says? He says, 'F word the little school children.' That's what he says." That dose of political reality is as familiar as my last spoonful of red beans and rice. However, I think even George Wallace would have stopped short of spreading a pandemic to make his mill worker base happy. Rather, he would have convinced his base that getting vaccinated was something they'd known to do all along, and that wearing a mask was as all-American as dropping bombs on Southeast Asia. Ron DeSantis, Greg Abbott, and their ilk may think of themselves as clever, but in the world of political realities, their shocking behavior is nothing new and not difficult to understand. However, if we go along with them this time, we risk much more than the lives of people who refuse to be vaccinated and who see refusing to wear a mask as some kind of badge of honor among hard-headed people. This time, we're going to be killing little children. And that is a reality that I don't want for my grandchildren or yours. I'm Frances Coleman. I've worked for newspapers for more than 45 years, from Texas to my native Louisiana, and finally to my home near Mobile, Alabama. I've been a reporter, an editorial writer, a columnist, and an editorial page editor. I've commented on the BBC, been a guest on the Rachel Maddow Show, and had my column distributed nationwide. If you like this podcast, please follow it. It's free. And even if you don't like it, I hope you will find it thought-provoking.